Yes, travel is political, and if you're sick of hearing that, I get it, but it means you need to listen to this. What people don't like about having to hear that travel is political is it feels like the last purely fun, joyful thing that we have left in our lives is being taken away. It's being polluted by all of the stressful, negative, scary things that we're sick of hearing about because we wish they didn't exist, like racism, sexism, homophobia, classism, and the privilege and power that many of us who consider ourselves travelers have because of at least one of those things. So there are two things that I think we all need to remember here. One is that if you don't have to think about the politics of travel, you're lucky. And I'm not saying that with any kind of condescension. I'm very much a part of that group. I'm white, I'm straight, and I have a US passport. Plus, I don't wear a hijab or have any other way for people to assume that they know something about me just based on my appearance. In fact, the only judgment that I usually have to deal with is the fact that people assume that I'm monolingual and often don't want to speak to me in Spanish or Italian, two languages that I'm pretty much fluent in, but that is an annoyance. That is not a threat to my personal safety. Furthermore, when I'm deciding where to travel, I don't have to think about whether I'm going to have to hide my sexual orientation or not. I don't have to do research on how I'm going to be treated in that place based on my skin color or my religion, so travel doesn't have to feel political to me personally, and I'm lucky for that, but it's not fair. Because people of color, queer people, and others have always known about the politics of travel, the political considerations that have to be made because they never had the option to ignore them. And that's not even getting into passport privilege and the fact that I am currently in Mexico, where I can stay for 180 days without even having to fill out a form, whereas Mexican citizens who want to go to the United States, where I'm from, have to apply for a visa ahead of time, and it costs hundreds of dollars and requires lots of paperwork and sharing personal information, including your bank account balance, with the US government. Now, those are things that I have to do when I go to Brazil or China, for example, but my husband doesn't because he's a European citizen. That is all the politics of travel. And beyond all of that, the other side of travel being political is the fact that we're spending a lot of money to travel, and that means we're voting with our wallets. So just like when we decide whether we're going to shop at Amazon or we're going to support small local businesses, whether you buy a diesel truck or an EV or you take the bus, whether you stay in a locally owned hotel or a Hilton, whether you eat at the hotel bar or a taco stand, that is all voting with your wallet, and it means travel choices have economic and thus also political impacts. Because deciding who you're going to give money to is deciding who you want to have power. It's another reason why